Hello, and welcome to this special Christmas episode of Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 21 of Chobits. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. Ooh boy, so last we left off, Hideki did manage to find Chi, and once again, she had a little episode where she wasn't quite her normal self, but, it's probably nothing to worry about too much. The interesting thing is that there were a few more questions raised, a few questions answered as well, but not quite so much as I think I would probably like at this stage in the game. The last episode sort of felt like a finale, but we've still got a few more episodes to go. So, I guess we'll see. There still are quite a few questions regarding the landlord and those two people. We don't really know much about them, so I guess I feel I can only assume they're like feds or something, or glowies. Because they seem to be lurking around, helping surreptitiously, but, who's to know what their true objective is? Now, it is interesting that she is keeping her job at the bakery, considering what Hideki now knows about the guy. Not that he would ever, make a move or anything, but that, I feel like out of consideration for the baker himself, that's gotta be a kind of a painful situation. Yeah, so I guess Shinbo's moving out, but, at least he'll still be in school, It is nice for him, I suppose, but it is kind of unfortunate that Hideki's nominally down one friend in his immediate vicinity. And, I think Hideki... Oh. Okay, so they're keeping the little miniature Persicam Sumomo. I wonder why Hideki would keep her. Surely Shinbo probably would have said, oh, just hang on to her or something, but, it's kind of strange to me. Yeah, so I guess it does sort of seem like they're trying to return to business as usual. Okay, so it's interesting that he's deciding to broach the topic of work now. It's why do you enjoy your work? And while her answer is nice, I do it to make you happy, that's probably not the answer Hideki was hoping for, but it's probably about as good an answer as you can get. Because, personally, I'm of two minds about it. Because on the one hand, if you get a job you like, you're golden. You never have to really work a day in your life. But on the other hand, I don't think work should really be fun either. If something's fun, it's not work. So, I guess in that sense, like, I don't know if chi really does work. Like, she gets paid for what she does, but... Man. So I guess this really just sort of, like, drives home just how wealthy the Persicom expert is. I don't recall if we were here before, but, wow. So, like, he won't even, like, go down to greet him. He just talks to them over the intercom. That's something. Ooh. You know, it's never good when you're running a bunch of cables around the house. And I feel like if he's networked all these Persicoms together, he's got to be doing something. You know, I'm wondering if he's trying to replicate that little brute forcing or something similar. I mean, he probably wouldn't do that to Chi, but, oh dear. So that's something for Hideki to be concerned day to day about Chi. Like, it does make sense with the kidnapping and all, but, like, I don't think that's really a way to live. You know, constantly worried and concerned. Alright, so there may be some answers about Chi based off all the research done on her. The question is, has anything conclusive been found? Like, I feel like, in all likelihood, you know, like, no, not really. But it certainly does seem to indicate that Chi really is unique. I feel like at this point it's pretty much confirmed that if Chobits do indeed exist, then Chi certainly is one. Ooh, so, man, it's always good when you have your research and you sort of have to preface it by saying, like, look, this is kind of an urban legend. Ooh, now there's a syndicate. Ooh. So these Persicoms were made for a syndicate, essentially. Like, that's, it's not a good sign. So, it's unclear what the syndicate wants with these Persicoms, these custom-made Persicoms, which ultimately became the Chobits, but, like, I feel like, it probably wasn't anything good. You know, tellingly, we don't know what they wanted them for, but, you know, when a group is called a syndicate, it's not a good thing, you know? Like, I don't know, just based on the idea that there was a syndicate who ordered these Persicoms, that the developers disagreed with them, seemingly morally, you know, this really puts two and two together when, you know, Chi seemingly awakens her other personality under certain circumstances. Ooh. You know, this is a bizarre exchange where you sort of, like, yell at your Persicom, and tellingly, Chi seems to be processing something about it, like... Man, there's all sorts of stuff going on here, like Minoru collapsed, like, that's, troubling. I don't know, was he just, like, running himself ragged trying to research things, or what? You know, normally, like, people don't just collapse. If it's from a lack of sleep, as seems to be the case, you know, I was given to understand that, like, you know, people don't just, like, pass out. You know, normally people start to, like, hallucinate and, like, other bizarre things happen rather than just, like, you know, dropping unconscious like that. Like, it's one thing if you're, like, already sitting and you sort of fall asleep that way, but, like, I don't know. This almost strikes me as, like, narcolepsy. Wow. So, this guy's here too. Like, he strikes me as not being uninvited. Ooh, okay, so, like, maybe he does deserve a beating, but I guess he's a guest here too. Whoa, buddy. It's like, oh man, my curiosity got the better of me. Yeah, alright, say that to Hideki's fist, dude. Man. For everybody to have heard about this syndicate, like, that's not a good thing, And he's suggesting, like, oh, let's hack this syndicate. Like, surely nothing can go wrong here. Because, like, the word syndicate to me implies organized criminality. And, like, I don't know, like, hacking is already something, but, like, if you're hacking a bunch of criminals, like, it seems to me you're inviting trouble that you really don't want. And sure, it might get you some answers on Chi and her purpose and why she was made and all that, but like, I would be willing to have, like, a couple unanswered questions if it meant relative safety, Ooh. Oh, I know where this is going. So they're mentioning hard drive failure and things like that, so, man, hint, hint, hint. So I guess Minoru, like, he would be rather upset with his sort of, like, sister replacement potentially losing data. That would be bad. However, maybe don't use your most valuable perscom. Maybe another could do the hacking, Yeah, so it's interesting that, like, this is suddenly shocking to everyone that Minoru wouldn't jump at this opportunity when normally he would, It seems like you should recognize that, like, the persicom is special to him. Alright, Hideki, crack the whip, man, let's go. Teach that guy a lesson. Yeah, you know what? Minoru's tired. He needs to rest. It's time to work. So it's unfortunate that maid persicom, she feels bad about not being able to help despite the risk. I get the feeling this is going to end poorly in one way or another. I mean, she seems to be uninvolved at this point, but, I don't know. Maybe at, like, a crucial juncture she'll get involved. Ooh. So that's interesting. Hideki's making the, the observation that most persicoms can't tell lies. It's like, most? I feel like, all, really. Because, like, this is one of those instances where they don't really have sapience, so I feel like, unless directed, they can't tell a lie, just because, like, I don't know, like, I feel like there's nuance involved in it, like, you have to be sort of self-aware in order to tell a lie, because a lie is something that requires intention. If you say something that's wrong, but you didn't mean to be wrong, like, you're just wrong, you're not lying. Lying has to be something intentionally done. I mean, I guess you could program something to lie, or rather, to give wrong information, but I don't think that would strictly be lying either. So, she is being asked the question, would you potentially put yourself in a situation where you could break irreparably to help Hideki? And of course she would do that, but like, boy howdy, I sure hope it doesn't come to that. Although tellingly, this little persicom here, she's probably gonna hack in, and in all likelihood brick herself, but it's interesting that she's seemingly acting of her own free will, because I was given to believe that she, didn't have that capability, but I guess she's sufficiently advanced. Now, it is telling that, like, the lights are dimming and browning out. Like, they shouldn't be doing that. It's also interesting that all the power is being diverted in such a way that it passes through that Persicom. Like, I feel like that's, it's probably not a good thing either. I guess I can accept it as sort of like pseudoscience technobabble, but, okay, so I guess these guys are Syndicate, then. I guess that checks out. They're aware of the hacking, and it seems like they're sort of waiting for Chi, potentially. Oh, dear. So this is one of those unfortunate situations where technology's working against you by locking the door. In a situation like this, I feel like we should all be glad that the door is fairly fragile, being mainly like thin pieces of wood and glass. Like, maybe breaking the door would be a bit overzealous, but man, sometimes drastic measures are called for. So Yuzuki's saying, like, I didn't understand how you feel, which implies that she does now, and that's, that's not run-of-the-mill Persicom behavior to understand feelings and things like that. And I feel like, maybe this is genuine, even if most Persicoms would supply, like, lip service, saying, like, oh yeah, no, I understand. So it's telling that Hideki is now giving sort of like the opposite view, that like, no, you shouldn't sacrifice yourself. And, she was giving him a little sidelong glance like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't sacrifice myself. Ooh. Maybe Minoru shouldn't have said that, you're not my sister, because that seemed to be sort of like the crux of her purpose, in a way. And I mean, it is the truth, but maybe you shouldn't, like, just, rip that away from her so quickly. So I guess the question is, did this whole thing prove fatal or what? I certainly hope not. Oh, that's interesting. Those two little Syndicate guys are both Persicoms. Or so it would appear. That's a whole new dimension, because it seems to me, the way they've been acting, that they would be similar to Chobits themselves, in that they are seemingly self-aware. Ooh. So it seems like the worst did sort of happen after all. Some data was lost. Not catastrophically so, but, I'm wondering if this is a bit of a strategic ploy on Uzuki's part. Okay, so I guess Minoru has sort of finally accepted things, in that his sister is well and truly dead. There's no sense in making a simulacrum of the dead. Like, just like, be your own person now. you are effectively your own person. Now, I unburden you. I'm glad he sort of couched it in better terms than I just did. It's not that, like, you no longer have to pretend to be this person, but you yourself are irreplaceable in your own way. So, don't worry about trying to live up to the memory of a dead sister. You are your own person. Or, Persicum, as the case may be. So I'm wondering, is she recording this? Because her eyes are doing something here. And I feel like that's indicative of something. Like, I think she's definitely learning a lesson from this. Probably a good lesson to learn that, yeah, her individuality is worth something. She couldn't be replaced, therefore she should not sacrifice herself wantonly. Or even at all, necessarily, Maybe it depends. Maybe something horrible will conspire to force some sort of self-sacrifice. Wow, that's a loaded question. What are memories? I mean, I feel like there's no real good way to explain it to Chi, given what she is. That's interesting. Memories as being something that you can't easily re-enter or replace. I guess that's true. Because, knowing how memory works, like, the mind is sort of, impermanent. Like, every time you remember something, it's a little tiny bit different. But yeah, I guess the idea that Hideki and Chi have memories is cause for her to be happy, given what she knows about the topic. Ooh. Okay, so I think it's safe to assume the landlord helped develop Chi. Like, wow. So she's heavily, heavily involved then. But, man. So I guess she was like a real, like, apex computer scientist that then became a landlord. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. Merry Christmas, Space Cowboy.